Hey everyone! So by this point we have dove deep into producing three-dimensional data visualizations of the North Beach using Octave, and visually comparing the changes that are happening within our beach by using these graphs. So now you might be thinking to yourself, is there a way to quantify how the beach is changing? Or can we get a numerical value that we can use to compare the changes from one beach profile to another? And the answer to both of those questions is yes. Using Octave, we can calculate the sand volume of a given day by placing a border around the system in which we defined, and then calculating the volume between the top of our sand and our imaginary borders that we placed on the system. This will not give us an accurate sand volume as we do not know how far down the sand goes, but it will be helpful in allowing us to calculate the change that is happening from one data collection date to another. Calculating the sand volume is actually very simple, and you have been doing it without even realizing it. To begin calculating the sand volume, we will go back to the editor window which you see here on my screen. We will then return to line 19. If you remember from earlier, line 19 is where we initially plotted our dates to create three-dimensional data visualizations. In this line, we're going to want to change it to only plot one graph at a time. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and create the initial graph that we started with, which was January 31st, 2018. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that February date there. After we have chosen the date for which we want to calculate our sand volume for, we're going to scroll down to the very bottom of our script. Between lines 64 and 76, we have created the borders for which we are calculating our sand volume in. The only line we need to change now is line 76. Here we want to replace the text that reads add date for sand volume here with the date that you chose. This will create a variable, like you might see in math class, that will hold the value for your sand volume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a shorthand version of the date. So I'm going to write Jan underscore 31 underscore 18 as my variable. So your line 76 should look something similar to what I have here. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my entire code. And just like before, we're going to go over to the command window and paste our code in there. So this is going to initially produce a graph like it did before, but we're not really interested in it this time, so we can go ahead and close that. This time we want to draw our attention to the workspace on the left-hand side here. In the workspace here, we have a new variable that was created called jan underscore 31 underscore 18. So what this means is that now I can actually call back on that variable whenever I want. So if I go over to our command window under all of this text that I pasted, I can go ahead and write in jan underscore 31 underscore 18 and then press enter. You'll notice that what we receive is a message that reads jan underscore 31 underscore 18 is equal to 11,028.93. And this is our calculated sand volume in cubic meters this month. So we can go ahead and repeat this process over and over again and calculate the sand volume for multiple days. So I will repeat this one more time for February 28th, 2018. So first I'm going to go back over to my editor, and then I'm going to scroll back up to line 19 where I have my date. So then I will go ahead and replace this 131.18 with 228.18 to calculate the sand volume for February 28th, 2018, and then go back down to line 76 like before. It's going to be important that you replace this variable every single time that you are plotting a new graph, or else what it's going to do is just overwrite the initial variable that you had, which you do not want. So we're going to go ahead and replace this to read Feb 2818 or Feb underscore 28 underscore 18 to reflect the date that I chose above. And again, we're going to go ahead and copy this entire script and paste it over in my command window. Like before, we can go ahead and close that figure because we are not interested in the figure this time. And you'll see in your workspace again that you've now created a new variable called feb underscore 28 underscore 18. So we can go ahead and test that out. Feb underscore 28 underscore 18 and then press enter and see that we have a sand volume for that date as well. So lastly, I want to see how the volume has changed between 2 months. I can use the command window to do basic math functions. So here I can write variable 1 minus variable 2 is equal to the change in sand volume. So in this case, I want to go with final minus initial to see how it's changed from 1 month to the next month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write Feb underscore 28 underscore 18 and then write minus Jan underscore 31 underscore 18. And then when I have that in, I'm going to go ahead and press enter. And then you'll notice that under that you get something that says ANS, which means answer, and then equals negative 163.73. And again, remember this is in cubic meters. So what does this mean? So what this means that between January into February, we lost 163.73 cubic meters of sand. And that's pretty much it. Play with the Octave code to calculate the sand volume of some of the dates provided and write these values down in your field notebook. Once you have these values, calculate the difference in sand volume between these dates. This can either be done in Octave or manually in your field notebook. We cannot wait to see the changes that you find within the data. I will see you all very soon.